Hey, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there from Jim's Holiest Coleus. So this Father's Day weekend has been crazy. I had my son's high school graduation Thursday, and then we had a big party for him yesterday, a catered party right here at my home. So I had a whole bunch of people, a lot of good barbecue food, and a little bit of Italian food mixed in, drinks, everything. So I'm tired, but you know what? I had to take today, get my Coleus out. Wanted to put them all out on the table today. Gonna leave them out all day under the awning. A little bit of sun, shade, got the fan going on them. There's a breeze, but we want to get them really sitting out in the outdoors, get that oxygen pumping through. Just fed them with the Miracle Grow feeder. So they're all watered, fed. 10 days from now, I'll repeat, doing some trimming, just going over everything, organizing. I priced some of the pots for the farmers market that's coming up in 2 weeks. It was actually moved up ahead 1 week because some of the produce that the local New Jersey farmers grow, they're really, they base it on where they're at as far as how ripe the fruit is and so forth. So we usually start at the end of June sometime, and that'll be the same case. So it'll be the last Thursday in June, the Bayhead Farmers Market. So anyway, let's go take a quick look at everything that's out on the table. I have everything pretty well organized and a lot of beautiful colors, and the pots really look nice. The Wizard Rose this year really came in nicely. They're difficult to grow. I've always found them to be temperamental. They're more dainty, as I had mentioned, if you're following along. They're not as hardy as like your regular Empire Kongs and Scarlets and so forth. So they got to be careful with the watering and so forth. And they seemed, in the past, when I've grown them, they seemed to be a little more prone to getting disease or root rot or just over watering. So I've been very, very careful this year, and they all look really, really well. A couple of them didn't do too well, but overall I'm pretty happy with them, and I know people are going to be very happy with the pots. So let's go take a look. All right, so we had our volleyball set up yesterday too. Bubbles, we had a couple of young children here too. It was a lot of fun to play bubbles with them, and hula hoops and all that good stuff. It was a nice day. So yeah, we as tired as I am, I know I needed to get this stuff done. So everything is out on tables, have the awning up. I don't want anything baking in the sun. I had some of the Terranias out on the end where there was direct sun for a while, just because they like direct sun, but I had to be careful because they are in metal pots. Really look nice, but as I had mentioned, they're very delicate. They're more delicate than, say, these crimson golds, smaller ones, and they're pretty hardy. They're more of a hardy. Same with these. They feel hardier than these. So, but they really catch your eye. These make really beautiful little pots. And there's a couple that are still pretty slow, and I found that happens a lot with them too. Wizard Rose, there are some that just grow slow. It's just the nature, but the majority of them are really growing a little quick. There's a few lagging behind, but that's okay, because then we're going to spread them out. I'm not bringing every one of these to the farmers market. So I'll decide next week which ones I'm gonna bring and which ones stay in the greenhouse. You can see I did some trimming, so I pretty much trimmed almost all of them, and it's just really going to benefit the next, especially with the weather. When I'm looking at the forecast, the upcoming weather, these are really going to take off, especially now I fed them. Now I put a little Miracle Grow. You can see I got a little residue from the Miracle Grow. I thought I mixed it up pretty well, so I'm going to spray that off with the water. I actually did already on this side, but I guess I missed this side. I don't think it's really harmful, but it's unsightly. It takes away from the beauty of the plant. So So I'll just rinse that off with the water. Will come right off and it'll be fine. But these Saturns and Saturn rings are doing pretty well. A lot of nice color. No insect problems really. I haven't seen any kind of signs of insects. Always check underneath. That's where they kind of like they hang out. If you see any holes, if you see one or two that have holes from insects, just clip off the leaf. Sometimes I leave a leaf over here, and maybe the little critters will go to the leaf that I cut off and let them eat that instead of the plant. If you find them really being stubborn. But I'll use the soap spray if I have to. But if I have no insect problems, I'm not going to use the soap spray. I don't use it preemptively. Don't need it. Sort of that if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. And also when you're potting Coleus, sometimes, especially with the potting mix, sometimes it's fluffy and then they'll settle a little bit. You can add another half an inch of potting soil on top. You can see I might add a little here. Looks like they're a little, it's, you know, it naturally, because the potting mixture can be very fluffy, and as you water it'll lose some of its volume, so you can add some on the top. I did that to here, this one here, a few of them, so you can go right ahead and do that. You know, if it's very leggy, this one here I can actually trim this, take that off, and the top here I think I'm going to trim that one. Here's a sort of a bad leaf, we'll just trim that off. Look around, see what happens. See any leaves that kind of getting shuffled around, you know, pick them off. You can argue these two can come off. You have all this growth coming in. Now I'm picking it with my hand, it's not really hurting the plant. These come off pretty easy, and that's going to allow all the energy those two big giant leaves up here were taking away from down here, that they'll get diverted down to these lower plants. And I'll do that initially. Again, you hate to see it, you hate to see that go, but it really pays off in the end. It'll repay you shortly. It doesn't take long for them to catch up, believe me. There's a beautiful scarlet and a mosaic. It's fun making up these pots. It really is, especially as you see them develop. You can see that one really. I mean, these really need to go up top here. There's some stems. You see any stem pieces on the bottom? Throw them, get them out of there. You don't want any debris, any kind of organic matter down in the soil. It could rot and cause problems. Just do that. Just go through your plants, and it'll pay back. You don't have to spend all day on them like I am. Is the jitters? See how look at that. They really fill in nice. They're great container plants. They're all a little different too. It's just a different variation. There's the jitters as well. They're just great as two. They're just great potting Coleus. And the Terranias, I planted about 10, but they're not easy. I just never found them really easy to grow. And I'm going to take my mentor Brooklyn's advice, and next year I'm not going to plant them in the metal pots. I'm going to put them in perhaps these instead. We'll see how they do. But they're coming in, these strong ones, but I only have a handful. And this is sort of a tough mix, because these aren't really good in direct sun, but these want direct sun. So that was probably a poor choice on my part. But I was just thinking it's a nice little pail. I mean, they will thrive with indirect sun, but so you can give it maybe an hour of sun. But harsh summer sun, again, with these metal pails may damage the roots a little bit. So But the pots, I get a lot of these nice metal pots. So, and overall, my Coleus do well in them. So, here's a leaf. Whoops. So just go through, and I can stand out here all day and find stuff and miss stuff. It's like going to a giant antique store. You look around and you can look around all day long and you're always going to miss something. So it's just over time. But everything is trimmed pretty much. And I don't go crazy trimming these. These are the trays that I bring to the farmer's market, and I let people pick out their own. They're like $2 a piece, and which is a pretty good deal. $2, and they're primarily, the standards. I mean, there's a couple of nice. I mean, they're all nice. There's a sort of a dainty scarlet, some mosaics, but people, these grab, they go. And here's some inky fingers. I'm going to pot these today. These are just some stems that I cut off of my last video. I mentioned I cut them off of those large planters, and they're already rooted. Look at it, just a week, about a week. Look at the roots already on these from the warmth, because I had this in the greenhouse. So they're ready to go. I'm going to put those in a little pot. A lot of nice color. And I happened to go to a different dollar store Saturday. Yesterday morning, I had to pick up some things before the graduation party, and it was nearby this dollar store, and they usually have a lot of these pots. So yesterday there was a sale, so I picked up a whole bunch of these for next year. They got them 50% off, so I bought a whole bunch of them, and also the metal ones. So I got a lot for next year as well. But I still would rather buy them direct and have them shipped to my home, because then I could buy 200 of them and be set for the next year or two. 2 years. All right, here are the hanging baskets. This has been dappled shade, sun and shade all morning. Now we're getting into the afternoon. The sun is starting, it's not setting by any means, but the sun's going to start to hit these a little more direct. But they're all watered well. But we want to get them used to some sun too. So that one there's a wizard, so we put that right in the back because they don't do real well in direct sun. So I'll move this one over here. And there's a little Saturn variation. That's gonna be a really nice hanging basket. So I did make up 10 hanging baskets, so we'll see how they go this year. And a couple of other stand-up pots. And there's that colossal marble from last year, and it's coming along slow, but it's getting there. And those I couldn't find any more of those window box planters in the dollar store, so those two, that's it. So okay, here, empty greenhouse. So everything's out except for these. Now that is the fishnet. Now you see those two top pieces, there's a whole bunch of growth coming in on the bottom. I have it staked up because that was the one that got damaged early on from the wind. So I put it in here. It's settled in. I lost the one on the other side, but that's okay. Got lots of growth coming in on the bottom, and I got 2 stems there. So I'm going to cut those stems, put them in water, and I'm going to make another 2 fishnet Coleus plants. And then there's 2 cuttings from last year of the Saturn. I believe these are Saturn rings. So early on, a little slow, but there you can see all that growth coming in, and just a matter of time. I'm keeping them in. I'm going to probably put these outside near a fence, except for that one there, maybe. That one I'm going to put outdoors by a fence, sheltered, and that'll really start to fill in. But other than that, we got a nice empty greenhouse for now. And hopefully this is what it'll look like at the end of August. Okay, so again, happy Father's Day to everybody, to all the dads out there. Gonna let these sit out a few hours more. I'm gonna rest, relax today, and back to work tomorrow night. And again, another week, June 29th. If you're in the New Jersey Shore area, Bayhead, New Jersey, it's 85 Bridge Avenue on the Manasquan Bank lawn. It'll be Jim's Holiest Coleus, and I'll be joined by 2 local New Jersey farmers who have really great locally grown fruits and vegetables. Sweet corn, peaches will be in shortly, cut flowers. They have these beautiful cut sunflowers they bring. So if you're in the area and you want a nice Thursday day trip, June 29th, starting that Thursday, noon to about 4:30. Sometimes we stay late. If there's a line of people, we stay. So, but it's every Thursday, starting June 29th, straight through, and I generally, until I sell out, which generally takes me up to the last week or so of August, and then we'll start it all over, and then I start my seeds in October. So rushing along here. Look, I'm already talking about fall. So all right, everybody, so enjoy your day, your Sunday. Happy Father's Day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching Jim's Holiest Coleus.